You are coming nowhere near my vulva with or without those nettle leaves. I can just assure you.
Why am I not coming near your vulva without the nettle leaves? So Valentine's Day is nearly upon us, and so I thought I'd look at some interesting historical aphrodisiacs to see how our ancestors got in the mood for the big day.
So that's why you dragged me back in this week.
It would be selfish of me to check whether or not I get horny from eating this without checking if you get horny too.
So you chose a plate of weeds and honey?
No, they chose a plate of weeds and honey. This does feel quite phallic for my Valentine's Day episode.
You wish.
You wish.
That's true.
The difficulty of researching this episode was that pretty much every single food has been an aphrodisiac to one culture or another at some point in history. So I've come across everything from medieval tarts made out of sparrows' brains.
What?
Yeah. There were some very nice Roman recipes for dormice roasted in honey. There are even one or two medieval accounts of people eating plates of beans and peas because it was presumed that the need to fart somehow had a correlation between having a very strong erection. And I was honestly getting a bit lost with where to start, until I discovered an 11th century book that has some very cost-effective solutions for getting in the mood. Warning, historical smut may follow. Step 1 in our medieval aphrodisiacs begins with stinging nettles.
What?
If the womb, heavy with humours, closes the vulva, it is recalled by rubbing it with nettle leaves.
Does it say something about also rubbing it on men's ball sacks then?
Funnily enough, I think it was a man that wrote this book.
Shocker.
I know. Well, we're not rubbing these nettles on your vulva, you'll be glad to hear, because it says, drunk in wine, it provokes the seed of Venus, and more so if it is pounded with honey and pepper and taken thus. What I have to do is remove the leaves from the stems. We need to boil them to take out the stings. So we've got our lovely boiled nettles. Because the guidance we have says it provokes the seed of Venus, even more so if it is pounded with honey and pepper, I'm going to do that. At this point I have a lovely nettle sludge. I'm actually going to pour a little wine in. Because I don't really want loose leaf nettle in my aphrodisiac, I'm going to strain it now.
That genuinely looks like the gillyweed that Harry Potter has to chew in the Triwizard Tournament.
He ate some weed to get horny. Okay, so going to give us both a little bit of the nettle starter for our wine. If I just sting my mouth off now, this is going to be a very short episode. Do you know, I don't hate it. I wouldn't make it again, but there's an earthiness to it. Oh, is there a bit of steam nettle in there? But it's obviously the pepper, it's the spiciness of the pepper at the back of the throat. If you were to rate this as an aphrodisiac, how likely is this to put you in the mood?
Not at all.
So this is a 0. I'm giving this a 3.
What? This just goes to show how much hornier men are than women, the fact that you think that this would work.
I mean, it's not working for me right now, but you've got to remember how much bad food I've eaten doing this. So next up we have the humble leek.
You're just going to shove that inside me and hope that that works?
If eaten raw, leek relieves drunkenness, provokes lust, and softens a hardened womb and abdomen.
Go on, bite the head off. Oh my god, you actually just did that.
Maester Floridus says that raw leek provokes lust. I don't feel any lustier having eaten it, and I'm fairly sure that if I go near you, you're definitely not going to feel lustier if you smell my breath right now.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain on that.
Yeah. Would you like to try it?
I will give it a go. Oh, it does have a rather...
It gets spicy, doesn't it? You don't feel any lustier having eaten it?
No.
I'm giving this a 1 out of 5.
See, I would give that a 1 out of 5 as well.
Next up, we need fennel seed. The seed of fennel drunk with wine provokes the act of Venus.
Oh, okay.
So the act of Venus, I'm presuming being sex in this instance. So I'm going to add in my fennel seeds. Crush these up a little bit. Adding to our fennel seeds some lovely, lovely wine. It does look a little bit like pond scum at this point. You can taste the grit. It's red wine with an aniseedy backdrop.
It's my favourite so far.
Okay, I'm going to give this one a 2 out of 5.
Okay, 3.5, 4.
Okay. So next up we have Savory. This is a herb I've never actually come across and honestly just smells like kind of a cross between oregano and thyme for me. Savory, taken well pounded with wine or an egg, calms nausea.
You're going to do it with an egg, aren't you?
Well, thankfully we're not here to calm nausea, we're here to... Similarly, it also provokes the act of Venus if taken fresh or dried with plenty of wine. If the wine is also mixed with honey and pepper, this herb is said to kindle the fire of love more ardently than normal.
This recipe book is really unoriginal. It's just changing out one ingredient.
The Romans and Greeks believed that wine in itself was an aphrodisiac.
Can I just have a plain glass of wine then, please?
So here we have our savoury wine laced with honey and pepper.
I like this one.
Yeah, that's really good.
Just tastes like a dessert wine.
This is the best one I've had so far. Though to be fair, it also rests heavily on the pepper and the honey and the wine, which in themselves are aphrodisiac.
Yeah, I'd give this one a 4.
4 out of 5 for the savoury wine. Next up, we have Rocket. Many physicians and poets confirm that this herb greatly strengthens Venus. It also says that it is most salubrious if taken together with lettuce. Cheers.
If you were going on a date and it was like a restaurant date and you wanted something light because you knew you were going to have a wham bam, thank you ma'am, then totally go for it, but it's not exactly buzzing my bits.
It's hard, isn't it? I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that it specifically puts me in the mood.
Yeah.
But, you know, it doesn't take away from my mood either.
3.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree a solid panel rating of 3 out of 5 for this. Next up, we have Marshmallow Root. The mallow root is also said to stimulate Venus if it is tied on next to the thigh with linen. So I'm making you a lovely,
You're joking.
a lovely little linen pouch that we're just going to tie around. This is solid gold TV right now.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Well, I didn't want to do this at the beginning because if you had that whilst you were drinking the nettle wine, who would be to say what it was that was putting you in the mood? Are you feeling anything from that?
No.
I think I should probably, in the interest of science, see if it does anything for me. No, I'm not feeling anything either.
No.
I think this might be my first 0. So we have a male and female panel score of 0 for the Marshmallow Root. Last up, we have Cloves. Cloves kindle the powers of Venus if it is drunk in the weight of a drachm dissolved in fresh cow milk.
Somehow I don't think clove is going to dissolve in it. Yeah.
They're almost famous for their grittiness. So I'm not entirely sure how to go about this other than another classic mortar, pestle and civet.
Oh, really?
Clove infused milk. I don't feel this is the drink that would put me in the mood. I feel like this is the drink that I would wind down after having had the mood. Okay, so if you had to pick a winner out of everything we've tried tonight, what is the most likely to do it for you?
The wine.
The wine with the savoury.
Savoury, yeah. Although I would probably ask for it without the savoury and just have the wine.
Conclusive proof that if you're in the need for getting in the mood, just stick with the wine. Thanks so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and drop me a note in the comments if there's something else you'd like to see me recreate from history.